introduce yourself first and last name, and how long have you been in the neighborhood? Just look at the camera. Sorry.
Well, my name is Abraham Ortiz. I've been working in the area for about 4 months now. This area isn't really all that bad. Like, I know there's been people, talking about, there's like the West Side Project and stuff like that, but to be honest, it really isn't where, like, you just go around looking for trouble or anything. The area itself is nice. You got a lot of working class people. You have the hospitals around here. You have like a bunch of restaurants, stuff like that. So everybody's just, friendly neighborhood. Everybody knows each other. You have a lot of like run-of-the-mill, like blue collar, white collar, working class people, and it's not really so bad.
Why do you think there's all of this misconception about the neighborhood being so bad and just not a good neighborhood to live in?
Well, I think it is because the Fillmore has its history about like the projects going around, and it's just like more of where people just kind of have this. They just think about it. Like, people just hear the bad stories. They don't really know about it until they start like coming around more often. This is why people stay away from this area. It's just more where people, like, you always hear things, and you're always going to be talking about all the bad things about anything. Like, that's the first thing you hear about just about anything. Like, when it comes to a location, people, anything in general. But you also hear the good. But because the Fillmore isn't really exactly like the best neighborhood to be around in, to live in, like, wise, because it's just a whole bunch of trouble. It's just a whole bunch of mess. Like, I lived over on Laguna and Eddy a few years back, and to me it wasn't so bad. But after I moved, and they had like the old apartments, they were demolished, and then they were built like new penthouses and everything. That's when things started to get bad.
Can you talk a little bit about that change of projects being demolished, and then having this new type of living coming in, and how does that affect the city?
Well, it affects the city in a way where it's just like, people come here to be, tourists, and tourism, it's a really big high demand in just about any place. And because of that, they try to steer people away from the projects, from all the bad neighborhoods. Like, people hear about like the Mission, Fillmore, Hunters Point. People don't really go to those areas because of that. They just like, you have like Candlestick Park, which is over by, is that Hunters Point or Bayview? Well, so that's pretty much what it is. You got all the best locations. You got a lot of good things going around, but like hole-in-the-wall restaurants, things like that. But because of that, people, they're more over their security and their safety rather than just going around because they want to have a fun time.
Mm-hmm. And how is it for a young person to grow up in the Fillmore?
For a young person, I mean, it can go either way. Like, it really just depends on the people that you hang around with. If you're hanging around with people, they're always doing bad things all the time, you're gonna get caught up with all that. But if you're not hanging around with that crowd, it's always different. It really just depends on the crowd that you're really with.
So not necessarily the city.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the city itself. It's just the people that you hang around with. It's never where you're gonna hang around with people that are doing good things, and you're just gonna end up a bad person, because it's not necessarily like that. If the neighborhood is bad, you have bad people, and you're hanging around with them, chances are that you're gonna be caught up in the same thing. But if you're hanging around with people that, I don't know, like kids that play card games, go out to the park and do that kind of things for fun, you're gonna end up being in that position where you're not caught up in drugs, alcohol, get that mentality where like people like selling drugs and stuff to other people.
Mm-hmm. So do you only work here?
Yeah.
So you don't live nearby?
I live in Pittsburgh now.
Oh, Pittsburgh, all the way?
California. Bayport.
Oh, wow.
East Bay. Yeah.
Wow, so that's a commute that you have. Why do you still commute like that?
I love the city. I was born out here. I love the city itself. This is my hometown. Like, I plan to move back out here sometimes.
So your roots are here?
Yeah, pretty much. There's no other explanation for it. I love the city itself. Like, my heart's here. This is where I grew up. This is where I want to be at until I die. Pretty much.
Nice. Is there something else that you would like to add that I haven't asked you?
No, I don't think so.